posted. Get our dashboard going, and then Discord. Alright, we should be good. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is, I don't know what I was going to say, January. It's December 8th, and this is the December 8th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be getting into Fmod integration. Specifically, we are going to Devstream. So, setting up Fmod support for our sound system. And currently, the way that that works is, if I look for, I can just go to resources. So underneath my game manager class, assuming I can find it, you are here. So underneath game manager, we have an object called sound manager, and apparently clicking on game manager causes a fair amount of weird. It froze when I clicked on it. Well, anyway, so we have an object called sound manager, and it is what controls um, all of the ways that we play sound effects in the game. Hello, Dusted Ham. Welcome back. How you doing today? So we're essentially going to need to make an extension of the sound manager that will also accept fmods or fmod IDs. Now, the way that this is normally done with fmod, I probably could throw a thing real quick. So fmod has some of its own scripts, and we're kind of going to use some of those. So an event emitter is what it uses by default. So the way this normally works is we would search through our events, which of course I have none in that yet, so let's go ahead and make one real quick. And everything's string-based, which is not super great. I was kind of giving a rundown of this on Thursday's Devstream. Doing all right? It's been a while. It has been. I've had several cancellations in the past couple of weeks due to schedule conflicts and such. So I'm hoping that that's not going to continue to be a thing. I'm hoping that we've kind of gotten past that point. We will see tentatively that if that can actually be a nice set of streaming times for us. How's it been? It's been all right. Like I said, I've been fairly busy at work, and there have been some schedule conflicts that have cropped up pretty suddenly. So it's been busy. a lot of game dev stuff in the local area going on recently, so I've been running around with trying to stay on top of things. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and let's just do a basic torch sound effect for now. So let's go to let's go to the intro, let's go to the castle. I'm going to make a new event, new 3D event. Let's go ahead and call this torch. It's probably not the best, but it'll work. So with this, we're going to need to make sure that we have our assets, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to Development, Unity, Text Quest, Audio, Fmod. All right, so I'm using the Universal Sound Effects package. I'm going to bring that stuff into Fmod. So I need to pull up our assets, which I could also pull up through, I think, Control 3. Yeah. This is our audio bin. This is where our audio files are stored. I'm going to look for, let's see, do we have a torch sound effect? I don't think we do. Yeah, we do have a campfire, though. So we look for fire. Let's not look at that. Let's look for campfire. Been busy, too? Yeah? What's kept you busy recently? That's okay. Not that. That's okay. I'm going to go with this. So let's go ahead and drag this in. This is now in our actual project. So if I save, it'll be linked there. Let's go ahead and make some new folders to try and keep things organized. So I'm just going to make a fire folder for now. We'll be fine there. All right. So the reason that we want to drag them into the audio bin is because I can actually drag these directly onto the audio track, but that creates a weird instance of it. And if I drag the same file in multiple times, then it creates a new version of that file each time. So by putting it in the audio bin, I just make sure that I'm not basically bloating my project. So let's go ahead. We're going to drag this in. And, if we play on this, it's fine. Nothing particularly crazy about it. Let's go ahead and add some slight variation. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to say create loop. I'm still getting used to this, by the way, so I do apologize if I'm a little slow trying to remember where everything is. I'm still getting used to fmod. So with that, when I hit play, it's going to just kind of loop through. But we don't want that necessarily to always be the same. So there are a few things that I need to do. Step one is I believe I want to hold Alt and drag on pitch. So we're going to have a bit of a variation here. We're going to have some volume attenuation. I don't think really needs to change. So what I did there when I adjusted the slider, so you'll notice that every time I play this now, it should have a random variation in pitch. I do actually have to start it. So like this is obviously higher pitched. We have our lower pitched one. We have our higher pitched one. And it's random. So let's go ahead and save that. And in addition to that, I believe I want to add some trigger offsets. So I'm going to go ahead and say start offset of 50 with, I think that's all we really need. So what I've done there is I have created a scenario where it will kind of randomly choose a location to start at before it will so basically what it does is it chooses a random position in the audio clip to start at, and that lets us have multiple objects with the same audio clip playing without them all playing the exact same thing at the same time. So this gives us a little bit more audio variation. And I think what we want to do here, preferably, if I have this right, let's see. So I have a start offset here. That's all right. Trigger conditions are good. We don't actually need to do anything there. This is probably good enough for us to just kind of work with for now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and right-click and say assign to bank, master bank. So now if I build my project, if I go back to Unity, this stuff should update. And you can see we got a little note there. So now if I look for something, you'll see that we do have this. And now I have this sort of string that shows me my event, shows me information about its properties and all that. So this is something that, this is how fmod kind of expects you to work using the string-based approach. The problem with that, however, is that if I have these strings on every object that needs to play something, if I ever move this torch, like if I move this over to sewer, then that string becomes invalid, and then it won't play the audio. So in order to prevent that, we're going to adapt our current sound system and build on it to support fmod. So that's not actually going to be super crazy. I'm pretty confident that we can do that just in today's stream. Although granted, it's going to be a bit of redundant code because I'm essentially going to be doing the same thing, but with two different scripts or two different audio types, I guess. So first things first, let's go ahead and I'm going to go to TextQuest. We're going to go to audio. I'm going to go right-click, create folder, and we're going to say sound manager. And I might actually go ahead and have this go under the general sound folder instead. So let's go to, actually, where is sound manager? Out of curiosity. Oh, I was looking at the editor, wasn't I? Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say like, where's my stuff? Let's go ahead and collapse this. Let's collapse this, and we're gonna rename this to sound, and we're gonna right-click, create folder, fmod sound manager. I think there's an fmod library for Unity already. There is? Like it's built into Unity? I didn't know that. I am not aware of anything like that, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm still fairly new to this, to fmod. So there's probably tons of stuff. I know that fmod has like a built-in uh, tool for this, so you could like search for torch, and it would like let you actually listen to these, which I probably shouldn't play too much of, just for Twitch copyright reasons. Let's go ahead and go back here. All right, so I'm going to right-click, create C# script, and we're going to say fmod sound manager. Okay, let's open this up. I was actually surprised, pleasantly so, how easily fmod integrates into Unity. There's not really a ton of hoops that you have to go through. Um, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So for the library, that's what the scripts I was showing were. That's what things like this studio event emitter are and all that. But the problem is I don't want to have this data on every object. And it doesn't really make sense for me to have tons of these things on each individual object because I'm going to need fmod sounds for everything from, when you pick up an object to when you drop it to when you hit it, and depending on what you hit it with. There's just a ton of things that I would have to have each like unique studio event emitter for. So instead, I'm going to adopt my decentralized approach that I have with sound. Well, technically it's more centralized actually. Approach with Sound Manager where I have my own custom IDs that are probably just going to be ints that don't have to change. That way the string can change and it can be in one place that I can then change it much more easily than if I had it, on 5 different objects. So the idea here is that I'm just kind of consolidating these things into one location, so it's much easier for me to edit them if I ever need to. That way I don't have to dig through all of my objects to say like, oh, did I change that sound? I got to go back and change that string. So now I can just have an int value. Same with my sound stuff. I don't have to worry about it. I can update it on the sound source itself or on the sound collection itself. No muss, no fuss. Much easier. But yeah, I've actually looked through the fmod API that you posted. That was how I got started. That was it's surprisingly easy actually to get things up and running. Although for some reason their project reference, in terms of like there are multiple ways that you can reference fmod assets. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I don't think it's this. Yeah, it's not that. I'm pretty sure it's actually in resources. Yeah. So like for some reason, sometimes the project reference breaks, but then single platform works versus and vice versa. I don't know why. It seems like fmod just has a little bit of instability to it, but it's not too bad. The way to fix it is basically to toggle between the two options, and it seems to fix itself. But it was a little jarring the first time I walked through this. I was following along with the video that they had. They have like a short 5 episode mini series on YouTube by the fmod crew about adding fmod to Unity. And I was following along with him, step by step, and his stuff was working and my stuff was not. And I'm like, why can't I see my events? And I had to dig through the forums to find someone talking about how there's this weird thing that it does occasionally, and you just have to kind of redo some of the values and then it'll be fine. So if you're ever working with fmod and your events aren't showing up, just try switching between project and single platform bank and all that, and it should fix itself. I don't know why, but it does. Anyway, all right. So this is going to be in the text request namespace. We're going to say using cpl.common because we're going to need that. And we're going to say using. I think it's just called fmod. Nope. Does it have a custom thing? Well, for now, I'm going to actually start working on my data types anyway. Um, so we're going to need a couple of things. Um, Pretty sure I don't need that. I could probably actually delete this. Are we doing anything with you? I'm going to assume no. Okay, I'm going to delete that script. Not sure why it's in there. So I need to make my sound manager. I need to make an fmod sound source, as well as an. We don't actually need to make a new sound type. We can get away with keeping the old one. I will need an fmod sound ID attribute and an fmod sound collection and an fmod sound. But that is so I'm basically going to have kind of duplicate code here. Basically, all I'm doing is I'm duplicating all of the sound code that I have and changing out direct audio clip references for fmod path or event paths. It's a little sad that that's the way it is, but that is how it is. So let's go ahead and I'm going to right click and delete this test because I don't need that script. Come on. I'm going to come back down here. Ugh, I hate it when it scrolls more than I actually did. All right, so I can't right click because it's going to compile in like 2 seconds. And then watch as it never does. It was supposed to be a joke, Unity. All right, well, while that's compiling, has anyone been playing the new Smash Brothers game? Because I have. I may have been playing that late into the night last night. Let's go ahead and create C# script. I'm going to say fmod sound. Create fmod sound collection. It's a little closer to Smash 4 than I would have preferred. Like, people feel paradoxically lighter in the sense that they are much easier to launch off screen, and also they are heavier in the sense that they are slower. So, like, that was one of the reasons that I didn't really get into Smash 4 because everyone just felt super, I guess, floaty would be a way to say that, which is infuriating. And it does feel like my inputs have, like, I haven't quite figured out the dead points when I'm trying to do inputs. So occasionally I'll try to do something and it's just like, nope, not gonna do that. Um, Also, hello Cash Override, welcome back. How are you doing tonight? Not tonight, it's midday. How are you doing today? So let's go ahead. What else do I need? I'm gonna need attribute and source. Okay, so I'm gonna say create C# script fmod sound source, and finally create C# script fmod sound ID attribute. Early stream today? True. On Saturdays, I usually try to do it a little bit early in the day, just so that people in Europe can tune in for once instead of it being like 3 a.m. there. Instead, it's like only midnight. I think I grew up on Melee, so everything's going to feel odd. No, that's true, and that's what I did too. I grew up mostly playing Melee. I mean, I played the original one too, but Melee was the one that I really cut my teeth on, and that's kind of the responsiveness that I got used to. So everything since then has felt floaty. Brawl wasn't as bad. I still feel like it was a little closer to Melee, but 4 they made like really, really floaty, and that drove me nuts. All right, so let's go ahead and start getting this stuff. Property attribute. We don't really need much here. We're just gonna go ahead and say public mod sound ID attribute. And I suppose I could go ahead and copy the old sound ID. So let's go for sound ID. that a second. Probably pick it up eventually. I mean, it's pretty fun overall. It's been a while since I really enjoyed a Smash game, mostly because it's been a while since I've played Smash. So it's nice to get the chance to kind of mess with it. Um, but I will say some of the only thing I really the biggest thing that I have a problem with, honestly, is the UI layout. I know that the UI layout was a huge problem in Smash 4, and they got so much worse in this one. Like, so it you go to the screen, and in a fighting game, you expect the main screen to basically show you a couple of things. It's like versus mode and single player and like maybe options and all that. So versus mode is front and center. It's very prominent. It's very obvious, and that's good. But to play single player, you have to dig into a sub menu and then dig into a sub menu of that to actually start the single player mode. So classic mode isn't on the main menu. It's on like a sub menu called games and others, or games and other things, which is in a different menu from the adventure mode, which is in a menu called spirits, which makes no sense. So like I didn't like the UI is a mess. And to enter custom names, or rather to customize the controls for those custom names, you have to go into a submenu that's on the main menu to the side. So you have to like know that you need to go all the way over to the right to pop out a menu that's kind of smushed up against the side and then select options. It's terrible. I do not understand how that got past QA, because that's just like it's like they never designed an interface before. It's so bad. I really don't understand how they did that, but they did. So eh. Um, all right. So that's our attribute. Go ahead and let that compile. We're gonna go back up here to sound. Might as well go to sound collection as well. Let's find. So sound collection. This up. We're gonna copy a fair amount of this code. This view using system.collections.generic. Let's see here. We're going to want to do this. This is going to be in text quest. This is going to be fmod sound collection. And then we're going to say SOS text quest audio fmod sound collection. You're not going to play nice with me until I actually populate you, are you? Let's get rid of this. Oh, and it's using link stuff, so we can fix that, which is fun. Let's see. So that's all that. Let's go ahead and say using sleepyl.common, and we're going to change the. Actually, you know what? Before, I guess I might as well change it here. So I'm going to get rid of my system.link stuff because there's no reason for me to use it. It just generates garbage. Yeah, that's the weird thing, right? Is like it's not that Nintendo is known for making games with terrible UI. Granted, they do probably have a higher proportion of that than most other publishers. Um, but still, it's not like it's always bad. Um, and see, I don't know if all of them were bad. I think that Melee's was really good, actually. I think Brawl's was okay if I remember it correctly. But like with starting with 4, they just went overboard. Like buttons are different sizes. They're not they're not in a grid that's discernible really. They're kind of like offset from one another. It's just visual chaos. I don't understand it. It's the most confusing thing ever. For I equals 0, I is less than sounds sounds dot count I plus plus. We're going to return, so we're going to say if sound, why do I keep saying sorts? Sounds of I dot ID is equal to ID. Return sounds of I. Otherwise, So we're going to just return null here. All right, and for this, pretty much the same thing. We're just going to do it in reverse. Well, not in reverse, on a different criteria. We're going to say .name is equal to name, and this is actually going to be capital N. Okay, and otherwise we're going to return null again. Okay, so that's nice and easy. Let's go ahead and copy these back over. Go back over here. Put these in. Font sound. Get rid of these. Okay, those aren't going to compile quite yet, just because of the fact that I haven't actually set up my fmod sound class. So let's go ahead and copy this. All right, I'm going to copy you, and then we're going to go to our fmod sound, paste that in, come over to here, paste you, get rid of this. All right, so then we're going to say audio mixer group. Oh, we do have some differences here, don't we? I'm not going to be able to handle mixer information because that's handled through fmod, which means I have to set up mixers in fmod, which means that I probably need to figure out a way to drive those through Unity. So, for now, I'm going to just not worry about that. Let's come back over here, go here, go there. Okay, everything else seems to be pretty fine. Cool, we don't need to worry about anything else. Let's go ahead and come here, save you. We're going to go back here, font sound collection. Everything seems to be behaving correctly now, which is nice. Don't have to worry about that. Okay, so let's go to, what else do I need? Sound, we have sound collection, ID done, sound source is next. All right, let's collapse that, get rid of you. Pretty sure we can get rid of you as well. And we're not done with you yet, so let's look at our sound source. Pretty much just going to copy this again. Let's go ahead and come back down here. Wow, there is a lot to this class. Paste that in. Let's come up to here. Fmod sound source. I don't like having such duplicated code, but let's go ahead and come back down here. I wonder. No, that wouldn't work. Right. So this is going to actually be a little more a little more difficult because I need to use the event emitter, not the audio clip. Just because that's how fmod does its audio. So this is going to be fmod sound. Oh, right, hold on. Fmod sound ID. That's not going to actually do anything yet, but it's fine. Let me see. Okay. I do have to remember what the namespace is for that stuff, so let's go ahead and let that compile. I'm going to check out the script. Fmod Unity, that's what it is. All right, so I'm going to say using Fmod Unity. Oh, right, that makes sense. Duh. It's not going to show up because I need to namespace fmod. Ooh, that's going to be fun. Okay. Well, let's look at this. So, studio event emitter. All right. So I am going to have to add a wrapper for all this stuff, which is, I'm hoping, all editor friendly. Just because it doesn't look like there's any editor folders. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create assembly definition. I'm just going to call this fmod. All right. Ooh, dear. Well, let's hope that that's all I need to do, because looks like there are a couple of other fmod things, but I'm guessing these are plugins. Okay, yeah, these are actual C++ code, so I don't have to worry about that. So this is fine. Let's see if that compiles to any errors. Hopefully it will not. I feel like my guy is not being very talkative, but maybe that's just me. Okay, whatever. Thought for a second that my avatar was not actually moving his mouth as he should be. All right, let's go ahead and close this. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What did I do? I did something stupid. Oh. Right. This is going to be a thing. Hold on. Hope this isn't too bad. Come on. You can do it. Oh. That's interesting. It deleted an extra. Okay, whatever. So we're going to come up here. We're going to say using system.collections. That should solve some of those problems. And here we're going to get rid of you. And why are you mad? Let's get rid of you. Mod sound. What? Interesting. Did I not move the fmod sound into the correct namespace? I could have sworn that I did, but perhaps I didn't. Well, let's find out. So we want fmod sound. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. There we are. Ah, there we go. Text request. And then we're going to say using sleepyl.common. That's all fine. All right, so we're going to get rid of, come back down here, get rid of the mixer group stuff. All right, so that should let us actually compile. So now I can assign my fmod stuff. Been working on something really neat for JavaScript games. Cool. What have you been working on? Another engine. I guess I shouldn't say another engine. I actually don't know how many JavaScript-based engines there are out there right now. I feel like there's a fair amount. Things like Phaser and whatnot, which are nice wrappers for HTML5 functionality. And I'm pretty sure they're written in JavaScript, not Java. All right, let's go ahead and close this. So I need to come back here to TextQuest. Let's go ahead and collapse this stuff. So here's my TextQuest assembly definition file. We're going to add a reference to fmod. That way my code can actually use it. All right, that's probably going to trigger a bit of a recompile. All right. We will let you finish compiling. While you're doing that, actually, I'm going to go ahead and pop in some editor scripts. Phaser did a lot more and not exactly what I wanted, because all I needed was to render text in a grid. In a grin? Really? Like in the shape of a grin? Let's go ahead. I'm going to come up here to editor. And then we're going to have audio. Right, yep. Create folder audio. And then sound. All right. Let's go ahead and I'm going to say right click create script. This it's going to be fmod sound ID attribute drawer. We are going to need that. We're going to create, for now, actually, let's go ahead and just handle our drawer. Grid, okay. I was going to say, like, grid makes sense, but grid seems like a bit of a turn. I wish rendering text wasn't such a nightmare. Oh man, you know it's bad when rendering text is hard. Like that's oof. Then again, no one really ever accused JavaScript of being well, I guess that's the paradox, right? JavaScript is paradoxically like easy to use but difficult to master because if you want to do stuff right and in the best way, it can be difficult to get JavaScript to do what you want. But if you just want to like throw something up, JavaScript will be like, I'll work with it. Hence the whole double equals and triple equals and all that. It's a nightmare. Um, all right, so this is going to be using Unity Editor, using sleepyowl.common. This is going to be in TextQuest, and this is going to be a property drawer, and this is going to be a custom property drawer type of fmod, not demo, fmod sound ID attribute. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to steal my code for my sound ID attribute drawer. Oh, hold on. I probably called it. What? Oh, did I just call it sound ID drawer? That might be what I did. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and copy out all of this content. Let's copy that. Come back here. We can get rid of you. Here we are. Let's paste you in. All right. So we are going to manager, blah, blah, blah. That's all fine. So let's come up to here. We're going to say using system.collections. Generic. And I think that's all I'm going to need. Right. I need to say using sleepyowl.common editor for some editor functionality. All right. So we want this to be an fmod sound. Manager actually should be fmod sound manager. I know you're going to complain, but I will fix you in a second. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to go to get rid of you. I think you need to stay open for now. Let's open up our sound manager. Let's see. There, I've got 80% of a peer-to-peer game code architecture written. Nice. Probably open source it when I'm done. It's pretty small and easy to use. Well, that's always a nice thing. Like it, as much as everyone always wants their APIs to do absolutely everything for them, more often than not, it's better to have a lightweight client that does one specific thing that you want. So nice. All right. Couple of things. Wow, that shows you how old this is. It doesn't have my modern day sensibility when it comes to code design and layout, which is of course terrible. The old ones, not the new ones. Let's go ahead and paste this in, and let's see. So we are going to want I think that's good formatting for now. Don't need to do anything else. Let's go ahead and copy this script and all of its contents, which is going to be nasty. Can I not? Oh, you know what? No, I don't need to do that. Um, Instead, I want to build on top of this. I don't actually want to overwrite it. So, a couple of things. We're going to say protected, protected. So that should be good. Let's go ahead and find my sound manager. We're going to come back over here. I'm going to make this derived from sound manager. And let's see here. Let's go back. Lost my place here. So instance, you're not going to play nice, which means that I need to do this. We're going to say private static fmod sound manager, and we'll say fmod instance. We're going to say public static fmod sound manager, and we'll say fmod instance or instance. We're going to say get. We will return fmod instance, and before that, we're going to say if fmod instance is equal to null. We'll say fmod instance is equal to instance actually just instance, and then we will say I'll do as fmod sound manager. Looking good. And let's see here. That should, let's get rid of these things. So we'll call you fmod instance. All right, so now that will work. And prop.intValue manager. Ah, right. Oof, that's gonna get a little messy. So for the most part, I'm going to want to actually copy some amount of code here. So I need to, for example, copy this list, which is going to, of course, require system.collections.generic. Yep, generic. We're going to go up to here. Let's paste that in. We can make this private now. We're going to call this, fmod sources. Okay. And then, in addition to that, we are going to want, let's see, I don't really need that. I'll copy some amount of code to handle fmod stuff. Add collection. Yep, I'm gonna need to do that too, and remove. Need to do that. I don't need to do. Well, I kind of do. Let's go ahead and come back down here. I'm basically gonna actually end up needing to duplicate this because I need to have both access to the original sound IDs and fmod support. I doubt I will actually be mixing and matching in the final game, but for now I need to support both, which is a little more cumbersome than I would like. So let's go ahead and we're going to say copy all this fun stuff. Copy. So I do end up needing to duplicate most of my code. Because of course I do. So let's go ahead and go back down here. All right, let's try porting this code for now. So we're gonna say, so are you ported over yet? You are, good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and say get fmod sound count, and then we're gonna say fmod because, all right, yeah, we'll do that. Then we're gonna say get fmod sound count. Odd sound sources. I can probably just copy this and paste it a bunch. Get sound count. There's going to be an fmod sound collection. Too many instances of the word sound. I started reading sound as sooned. Jeez. Gotta love semantic. What is it? Semantic satiation. Bah. It's always frustrating. Let's see. Collections. Right. Well, that's fine. So that's going to throw an error until I add some fmod sound collection stuff. But we'll leave that as it is. So get fmod sound IDs. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to say get fmod sound names. Find fmod, I guess will be the thing I do. That will return an fmod sound. An fmod sound collection. No, you're going to break. Don't worry, it's all fine. Find fmod, fmod sound, fmod sound collection. Fmod sound source. Find fmod sound source. Do that. Source is equal to, right? You're all gonna be fun. Find fmod sound source. Fmod sound source. Let's go ahead and get that. Find fmod sound sources. Fmod sound source. Fmod sound sources. Fmod sound source. Looking good here. All right, and jeez. Find fmod sound sources. Yes, cat, I see you. What are you doing? Yes, I know. Find fmod sound sources. Find fmod. Fmod sound sources. It never ends. Get fmod sound source. Let's see. So this is going to be fmod instance dot sources. That's interesting. Why did that make it go away? Huh. Weird. Okay. Let's go ahead and we can get rid of the. Actually, we can't get rid of that one. This is going to be find fmod. Okay. So we can get rid of you now. Let's go back to our sound manager. We're going to want to copy all of this again. Ah, jeez. Jeez Louise. All right. Let's see. Sound complete. Cool. Missing sounds. Clean up sounds. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this down. We're going to come back over here. I'm going to make this protected, virtual, and protected, virtual, although I doubt we're actually going to do anything with that, but it's good to override those because I'm going to need to on level loaded, I'm pretty sure. All right. Let's see now. So. Now I need to go back to where my, oh, wrong thing. That's the old one. Let's see. Sound complete. Do fmod instance. Fmod instance. Fmod sound source. Ooh, that was almost terrible. Fmod sound source. All right. Let's see. So we're gonna have fmod instance. Fmod instance. Let's get rid of that. We're gonna say fmod sound source. All of this is all fun. Let's see. Play sound. This is gonna be an fmod sound. So we're kind of just going to work our way up here and see what happens. So let's get rid of audio mixer group. Get rid of you. We aren't going to have a sound clip anymore. Well, we're going to have sounds, but we're not going to have an audio clip. So I suppose I should make that a string. Ugh. Nah, for now, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. So we're not going to have any of the audio clip stuff. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's go to fmod instance cat. Yes, I see you. Yes, I know. You want attention. Let's see. Source. Let's paste that in. Stops giving sound source. Instance.sources. I know it's going to all complain about that. Audio clip. Not going to worry about it. Okay. So we have our fmod sound source, sound, play sound, which is also correct. Fmod sound. Let's see. So here, maybe things get a little bit more difficult. I would prefer that it be the same, except I know that it won't. So, find fmod, find fmod. Okay, fmod instance, find fmod. So I guess I just have to kind of do that. Fmod ID, play fmod, play fmod. Yeah, I probably should just rename these to be fmod. Alright. Just for consistency's sake. That way everything makes sense. That way I never get confused if I'm telling it to play an fmod sound or a regular sound. Fmod. Let's see, and then fmod instance, because of course find fmod. Alright, audio clips, we do not care about you. So I'm not going to worry about it. Get fmod source, that's all. Alright, so now I've worked my way all the way back up, so I should be able to start working on. So we're going to come up to here. Let's go to wherever it's having problems with sources. And I guess we're going to go ahead and say up here, serialize field, private list fmod collection. Oh, fmod sound collection, that's right. And we'll call this fmod collection is equal to new, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to say fmod collections. Fmod collections. Collections. All right. Fmod collections again. Fmod collections. Let's see. So that's all fine. Let's see. Here we are. So this is going to be fmod sources. Oh. Oh. Right. Hold on. So this is an fmod sound source. Fmod sound source. All right. And that means I can copy this. We're going to say sources. Fmod sources. All right. Let's go ahead and copy that. Come back down here. Fmod sources. Fmod sources. Fmod sources. That's all fine. Okay, find fmod. Turns all sound source. Fmod sound source objects that are done with find fmod. Can I convert from a sound to an int? Interesting. You shouldn't. Where are you going? Okay, one that takes a sound ID. Oh, is there one that took an... Interesting. Is there one that... Ah, here we are. That should fix that problem. Find fmod. Alright, yeah, there we go. Okay, so find fmod. I'm still messing up here. Find fmod. Huh. Interesting. Sound. Oh, right. So find fmod. I don't have one that takes a string, I don't think. Or, no. Hold on. It's because I probably forgot to... Okay, no. Sound name. That's a string. So I should have a function called find fmod that takes a string right there. Why are you not doing it? Sound name. Find fmod. Cannot convert from you to that? But why would you need to? Do you not take... Ah, there it is. Because of course. Fmod sound, just making sure everything's correct. Alright, so we don't care about you, again, because it's audio clip, not a thing that I have to worry about. Alright, so that should be fmod sources, contains source. Alright, hold on. We're going to say fmod sources.add, sound complete. Let's go down here, and this is going to be an fmod sound source. That's all good. Sources. Alright. So now we only have one error that I have to fix, and that's just because I need to have the prefab reference. So we're going to come up to here, and I'm going to say serialize field, private, fmod sound source, and we'll just call this, I think I originally called it sound source prefab. I might have called it source prefab. Trying to make sure that it sound prefab. Wow, that's not exactly right, but sure. Fmod sound prefab. Alright, and now I can come all the way down here, and we're going to say dot fmod sound prefab. Okay, so all of that is now ported over, and it should, in theory, work with fmod. Well, or rather, it should compile. It won't actually work with fmod yet because we need to make sound source behave differently. So with that, we're going to say using fmod. Oh, I guess it's going to be fmod unity, I think. All right. So for our sound source, we are going to want to have, instead of an audio source, it's going to be, I guess, an event emitter. All right, and that is... okay, I was going to say, like, that's not right. Hold on, fmod event emitter. That. All right, and yeah, this is where things start to go a little gross. So I'm curious to know what it does have in terms of actual values I can set. So we'll say cache source dot, let's see, asset. That might be what I want. ID path, that's not what I want. Let's see, dot, what do you have? What can I work with? Not much. Okay. Well, all right then. So we're going to say path. I'm assuming this is our string value. Yep. Cool. So that's going to have to be set whenever I do an actual, whenever I play a sound. So let's, geez, we're going to have all kinds of problems here if I can't get it to respect volume and all that. Which might not work. I don't know if I have individual control over that or not. I don't think that I do. So we're not going to be able to do any of this information, which is great. Let's see. I guess that also means that things like loop and all that are redundant because they aren't actually useful. Um, because looping is specified inside of fmod. It's not something that's exposed easily in Unity, I don't think. So I'm not sure if I can easily detect if it is going to actually be a looping sound. Um, by the way, I guess I should probably say audio and coding today. um, one of these days I'll remember to put that up at the beginning of the stream. So let's see here. So I can't really control volume, I don't think. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe I can though. I might. Maybe I don't want to use their built-in one. Actually, I might want to instead use my own. No, I'm pretty sure that the event emitter is what you use. It's like their version of audio source. Um, Jeez, it just gets so complicated though. Let's go look at this real quick. Okay, not a lot there. But fmod unity. Okay, so that's clearly not the thing I wanted then. Um, are they the same name, just different namespaces? Cool. So we should be able to just get rid of that then. Okay, yeah. There we go. Let's start with that. And then we can go check this class out. There we go. Let's see. Play event, stop event, collision tag, allow fade out, trigger once, preload, params, override attenuation, override min distance. Interesting. So sorry, don't know why I'm yawning. Let's go ahead and get some of this stuff taken care of. All right, so let's see, set mod sound, some minor maintenance here to make sure that my comments look nice and are actually going to be useful and not give the wrong impression. Okay, I think we're good there. So going back up here. So I guess let's find our fmod source. Where are you? Fmod source. Here we are. So we're going to say studio. Oh, come on. Stop it. Fine. Let's come back here. So we're going to say cached source dot. We have allow fade out, collision tag, event. We have attenuation, which doesn't really give me much of anything. Params, play event, preload. I'm wondering if params is what I need to adjust for volume. I'm hoping not, but probably it is. So, trigger once. Oof. Well, at least we know how to start and actually, yeah, start and stop is pretty straightforward still. Um, so I'm not really sure what I can do with this then. Cache source dot volume. That's not really going to give me anything. So, yep, there's nothing there. Let's see. I'm gonna look this up real quick. Set emitter volume. Let's see. Simple emitter component to play in FMod Studio. If you drag an event from a local browser, blah blah blah. Select the event, starting and stopping from script. One-shot sounds, overriding. No need to do attenuation or anything like that. Preload sample, now fade out. Trigger once. Perhaps this is what I want. Need the output levels, how loud it sounded, is certain dynamic change. Get the instances in the channel group, then get the DSP head, then use DSP.set metering enabled to turn on metering. Metering info, everything. The emitter and event instance as an asset of that emitter using get volume out volume. Okay, so let's see. Well, I'm curious. Uh, Although clearly this is the old stuff, but we might be able to get what we need out of there. Let's see, get component light. Fmod.dsp metering info list. Oh, geez. No way. I'm not going to have to do that, am I? What is it? Fmod.dsp. Oh, dear. DSP, something else. DSP metering info. Is that still a thing? DSP metering info. Dot. Cool, so that's a thing, but it's not that anymore. Oh, I guess it's because they were making a new one. That kind of makes sense. Channel groups, DSPS. So we're going to want, let's see, system update, flash commands, channel group, event instance. Let's see, emitters.add, system.get event. Okay, out event description, create instance, start and add. I'm not sure. This is getting a little bit more intense than I would have hoped. This is what I get for assuming that it's going to be as easy as playing the sound itself. Let's see, change group, metering, flash commands. Okay. Okay. So, I suppose for now, we will. We'll try not to care about volume, because that's probably going to be driven from a more centralized location. It just that's not ideal. I really don't want to scrap this just to have to redo it later anyway. Let's see. Well, I don't need to worry about you because we can't do the audio clip stuff, so that's cool. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna go over to Fmod Sound real quick, and I am going to see. All this stuff seems to be working as we would expect. So it's not going to be an audio clip. Instead, this is going to be a string. I don't want to call it clip. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to rename this as event. Right. That's a literal one because, of course, event is a keyword, so I can't use that. So I need to rename that as like fmod event, I guess. Yeah, event path maybe. I guess that's better than nothing. Um, actually, what do they call their thing? Let's see, it's called an event, just capital E. Okay, well that's not nice, but whatever. So we're gonna come back here, event path. We're gonna just make this a string. Let's see, fmod sound. I cannot actually do anything with. Um, so I guess I could make this a string and then say I would make this a the name, huh? I guess we would just call that clip. We're gonna rename this as event name, I guess. Event name. Sure. Maybe path would be better. That's all good. Let's see here. So event path.name. Okay, so we're gonna say instead of this, we're gonna keep that as event path, and we're gonna change this to string.isNull or empty. So if the event path is empty, then we don't care. And let's see. Yeah, I think that's good. We're going to come back down here. So length is where things get a little bit more difficult to judge. Using this, it's not being used, so I could get rid of it. I guess that's fine. Yeah, all right. Well, but then again, it's not about if that's being used, it's about if sound is being used. So hold on. Let's go back over to here, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to sound, definition. All right, is length being used? Find all references. No. Okay, then in that case, I don't particularly care. Although precision length is, so well, that doesn't really work very well now, does it? And get pitch is also not something that's particularly useful. So let's go back here to fmod sound. So I don't want to use length. That's not actually useful. Precision length. For now I'm just gonna do this. And get pitch we don't care about because I can't actually do anything with it. So, and that makes sense, right? Because fmod is going to be controlling pitch, so I don't need to worry about it. It would be nice to be able to retrieve length, but we'll see if we can get that to work. Same thing with looping. I'm not entirely sure if we'll leave that on because that might be a nice public accessor for it, like just for us for read info, not so much for writing to it, but just being able to check if a sound is supposed to loop. So I'll leave it there for now. Sound manager, sound source. All right, so at this point, pretty much everything we would expect is. So we're going to say cache source dot event is equal to sound dot event path. don't care about the looping. We don't care about the pitch. We don't care about the spatial blend either, because that's not a thing. Okay, I'm gonna make this fmod sound source. Looking good. We're gonna say cache source dot volume. We don't really care, so I'm just gonna go ahead and comment that out for now. All right. Well, we can't use you. I'm not crazy about this. I guess we're gonna make you just read one. Come back up here. We don't care about spatial blend. I don't think. So, I mean, are you even used? Sound source. Actually, I know you are. I don't know if you're retrieved, but you might be set. Yeah. So, but that's not actually something that's useful here, so we can get rid of it. Same with pitch and volume. Well, volume is not going to be that. For one, we're just going to say 1F and I'm not going to do anything here. I guess I can't really do anything here. Clip is not at all useful. I guess I could rename this. So find all references. Cool. So we're just going to have this be our event. So we'll say event path, or I guess I can just call it event. And we'll just call this event. It's all good. And all right, so let's see. We are not going to need to do clip is equal to null. We are not going to need to do that. Yeah, this is where things get messy. So we're going to just comment that stuff out for now. Right. Coroutine. Okay. So, right, this was a fun workaround that I had to do to handle playing sounds in reverse if they loop. Because, of course, Unity doesn't like to do that. Excuse me. So, let's see here. Cache short pitch. Not going to worry about that. With looping is equal to true. I don't really care about that. There's not much I can do there for now, so I'm just going to go ahead and say is equal to false. And get rid of that. I guess we're just going to say loop. That's fine. That, you know what, this actually might be a thing that I don't have to worry about at all, because it's through fmod, not Unity now. So I kind of wonder. Okay then, let's just go ahead and pull this over. I'm just gonna comment like all of this out. Paste that. And we're gonna say, is there not really a like is plain? There we go, is plain. So while it's plain, we're gonna just yield, and then otherwise we're gonna just let it go. All right, finally, let's let that all compile, that monster of a chunk of code. Oh, jeez. Cool. Oh, right. And it's gone. See what's happening here. Sound.event path. Oh, right. The test button. The test button. Well, for now, we're not going to care about you. Okay. Well, that's a little annoying. It means that I can't I won't have a test button next to my drop down that will let me just like click on it to listen to the sound because that has to be done through Fmod. So, okay. I guess for now we can go ahead and just say get rid of that. And I think I could probably do this. Get rid of you. I think everything else will work about the way I would expect. So let's just go ahead and do this. Do that. All right. I think we are good. I probably should not have that be a list because, good God, it's going to convert it to an array every single frame, which is a bit much. All right, let's let that compile now. And hopefully everything will work as we expect. And then I can just go ahead and make some custom editors. Plus the actual assets. We will find out momentarily. All right, nice. So that all compiled. So I should be able to, let's come down here to audio, intro, castles. Where are you? So these are all the audio clips, but where's the actual sound? Let's go up to here. Sound manager. Huh. All right, fair enough. Well, for now, let's go ahead and create folder, fmod, right-click, create, SOS, text quest, audio, fmod sound collection. All right. So this, oh yeah, right. I need to redraw this. Hold on. We're going to come up to here, not to there, down here. Let's see, fmod sound, fmod, here we are. So we're going to right click, say create, C# script. It's going to be fmod sound collection editor. All right, and it's pretty much going to be a duplicate of the regular sound collection editor, except we do have some differences. The regular sound collection editor has these fields at the top that you can drag audio clips into, and then it'll automatically populate this stuff. But we don't have audio clips, obviously, so instead it's going to need to be a field, I think, and a type, and then we'll just say add, and that will let us add that sound to our collection. So go ahead and say text quest, say using Unity editor, using sleepyowl.common editor. We're going to come back to here. We're going to make this an editor. We're going to say custom editor type of fmod sound collection. All right. And now we can go to sound collection editor, which is probably just called inspector because that's how old it is. Oh god, it's gonna be so sloppy. Right. Well, let's go ahead and do this while we can. What's funny is that I'm pretty sure that I rewrote this code at work, but I didn't do it here. So that's fun. Just because this current code base, I'm pretty sure, is old enough that it's straight up just not drawing the way you would expect. So, okay, let me think. Sound collection. I wonder if I could simplify this a little bit. But I could. Okay. So, first things first. We will keep, I guess, the sound colors. Um, but we will want to come up here and say using not sleepy owl system dot collections dot generic. Okay. Then we're going to say using sleepy owl dot common. So this is going to be an fmod sound collection. We'll let this go. We'll keep all of our sound types. We can't do testing, so for now we're not going to worry about that. Fmod sound collection, that's all good. Collection.sort. Draw sound inspector, which of course, yep. Let's go ahead and we are going to say down here, new fmod sound. Oh, right. So we don't need to draw drop areas. We don't have to worry about that at all because it's not a thing. So we can just get rid of it. We can get rid of you. And here we want to say sound. This is going to be an fmod sound. We don't care about you. We don't care about you. So we can get rid of pretty much most of this code. Let's see. Test button. We can get rid of you entirely. Header text. That's all good. We'll get rid of the test button. We'll keep the remove button. Right. So this is going to be sound dot event path is equal to. What a terrible way to do this. Actually, this is not going to be the way that we handle it, but for now it will be fine. So this is going to be text area. Let's just do that. And you. Assuming that's good enough. Yeah, so we're going to probably port this over to its own custom property drawer, just to make things a lot easier on me. Okay, so let's go ahead and let that go. It is not going to want to play nice to start with. I'm willing to bet that if I select the fmod sound collection, it's actually going to break. So for now, we're going to hop over to the editor folder again. And we're going to add a custom property drawer for this. Once it compiles, of course. You can't rush Unity. You gotta understand it. It needs to take its time. It's gotta compile everything just right. And who wants to see the inspector break terribly? That's actually not as bad as I was expecting, so, you know. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and come back here. I'm going to go ahead and say right-click, create C# script, and we're going to call this fmod sound drawer. So this is our custom property drawer that we're going to use to draw sounds. And I need to do that because there is a tag, or there's an attribute that fmod has created to allow you to easily grab string event paths. So I want to use that, and in order to do that, I have to use serialized objects. I can't use the manual process that I was using in the old way of handling drawing sounds, so I have to make a custom one. So this is going to be using not Sleepy Owl, Unity Editor. Also, hello McTravdad. Welcome back. How are you doing today? I gotta stretch. Alright, so we're going to make this back in TextQuest. It is a property drawer. This is a custom property drawer. Type of, and then fmod, or demos apparently fmod, sound. Okay. So with this, we get to do some fun stuff. So we're going to need to say override, not get hash code, that's not what I want. Override, get height. Why will you not tab correctly? One more time. Third time's the charm. There. Then override on GUI. Okay. So here is where things get fun. We're going to say if property dot is expanded, then we're going to say position is equal to editor GUI. Oops. Editor GUI utility dot single line height. Then we're going to go ahead and say, sorry, not position is equal to that. Position dot height is equal to that. Wore out. Helped break a yard for a church widow, and I'm not used to manual labor. Yard work. Yeah, that's never fun. Fortunately, it's cold enough now that I can kind of ignore my yard for a little bit. I'm doing all right. It's, Smash just came out, so I've been playing that like crazy and having a fun time with that. It is big, and I am surprised actually. I've been playing it for. I played it. I got it yesterday. I couldn't play it until after work, and I didn't get home until late. So started playing probably around 8 p.m. and I played until about 2 a.m. And in that amount of time, I think I've unlocked less than like plus probably about another 2 hours today. So about 8 hours total ish. I've unlocked maybe 8 people. They have really changed how unlocks work. Um, and apparently it's random now. I'm trying to do everything through the adventure mode because I'd like to see what that is. But apparently, like it seems like if you complete any sort of mode, you just get a random challenger, which is interesting. But all right, sorry, I got a little distracted there. So we're gonna go ahead and say we want to draw our header. So we're gonna say property dot is expanded is equal to editor. Oh, sorry, not that. Right, I was gonna say I knew we needed using sleepyowl.common editor. We're gonna say custom editor utility dot draw header position with. This is where that gets annoying. New GUI content. I'm just going to say name for now. Let's see here. Then property dot is expanded. All right. So that's our header there. And then we're going to say if property dot is expanded again. Then we're going to start doing other things. So let's go ahead and come over to here. Draw a sound inspector. This is where all of this fun stuff happens. I suppose I can also kind of cheat. And I'm just going to go ahead and say default test color. I'm going to move this stuff over to here. Oh, wait, no, those are the test colors. I don't care about you. I want sound colors. There we go. Let's copy this, paste this in, which means that I'm going to have to come up here and say using system. Not SSAA. System.collections. .generic. I can't spell today, apparently. There we go. All right, and let's see here. But yeah, as far as the new Smash goes, I will say that I skipped most of Smash 4, so a lot of the final Smashes, after I unlock a character, I try to use them in a pinch moment, and it's changed, so it's completely different from what I was expecting. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess this isn't okay, and then I die usually. It does seem to be a lot harder now. Compared to previous ones in the sense that you only get one life before you have to continue in a lot of things. Like classic mode no longer has multiple stocks. Instead, you just get one. And as soon as you die, it's like, do you want to continue and spend a bunch of money, or do you just want to, Or do you just want to restart back at the beginning? It's like, well, my pride says beginning. So it took me probably about an hour before I like gave up trying to beat classic mode without dying. Um, it probably didn't help that I was playing it on the hardest difficulty, but still, it was a matter of pride. I wanted to do it. Um, so let's go ahead and we will let you go. Let's go back to here. Sound types. We don't care about that. Actually, do we even need you anymore? Yeah, I guess we do there. So that's fair. Let me come back down here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and say begin vertical. That's all boring. Although actually, I can go ahead and say let's go to definition here. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and add a function to custom editor utility because I figured out how to draw regular uh, regular kind of text areas without it being text and therefore interfering with things. So I'm just going to make a short function here that's just going to be called public static void draw. I guess I'll just call it draw rect actually. It's going to take a rect position, and that's all we care about. And all we got to do there is say editor GUI dot draw, or not draw, dot label field, and then we're just going to say position with no content and editor styles. Oops, editor styles dot text area, and that draws a rect, like a bounding rect that looks nice without me having to draw all that again. But I will when I actually do this color, and then we're going to come down here and we're going to say public static void draw rect based off of a rect position up, and this is going to just call draw rect position color dot white. Okay, and then we're going to say color cached GUI is equal to GUI dot background color. And we're going to say GUI dot background color is equal to cached GUI, and then GUI dot background color is equal to cached GUI. Cached GUI, and this is going to be just equal to color. Okay. So let's go back here to our sound drawer, and if it's expanded, then we are going to go ahead and say position dot y plus equals. Right, this is going to be a thing. So we're going to go ahead and say editor GUI utility dot single line height, and then we're going to go ahead and say plus 2f for padding purposes. And I guess I should just go ahead and make that a thing. So private const float field padding or spacing. Padding is fine. Is equal to 2f. That's all fine. Make that field padding instead of magic number 2f. And then we're going to go ahead and say, let's see. We want this to be our field. So we're going to say editor GUI dot property field position based off of a couple of other things. Let's see. The name field, right. So I think I can say property dot find property relative name. Okay, we don't care about anything else. And then we're basically just going to keep doing this bunch. All right, let's real quick. I am actually going to cheat for now. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this line so that I can see these things in action. Let's go ahead and go back to fmod sound. Let's drag that over so I can get some things done. The ID, should that be displayed? really, but all right. I'm going to. No real good way of doing this, is there? Not really. Gross. Okay. So I would ideally like to be able to reference this, but I guess I can do kind of like a manual comparison, which is just going to suck. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come back to here. Let's just come down here. We're going to say private GUI content get label, I guess. We're going to go ahead and take a serialized property. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and say string name is equal to property dot find property relative name dot string value. Okay, followed by actually we're just going to go ahead and say if name dot no, hold on, if string dot is null or empty name, then we're going to do something else. Let's go ahead. We're going to say GUI content label is equal to new GUI content. Then we're going to just go ahead and say fucking headphones. We're going to return label. We're going to go up to here and we're going to say if our name is empty, then we are going to let's go ahead and say if it's not empty, we're going to say label dot text is equal to name, and then we are going to say else. So if our name is empty, then we're going to go to try to use our event, which means that we're going to say string event path is equal to property dot find property relative event path dot string value, and then same thing pretty much. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. So if event path is not null or empty, then we will use that. And then finally, if all else fails, then we will say label.text is equal to property.find property relative id dot int value dot toString. All right. Pretty straightforward, but now I can come up here and I can say get label property. All right. So first things first. So we're going to keep name here. I'm also going to go ahead and show ID, even though it's probably always going to be hidden, but I will keep it there anyway. So we're going to have property field. We're going to have a property field for our name. What else do we need? We're going to need our type. So we're going to say type, and then we're going to need an event path. All right, and we don't really care about spatial blend because again that can't be used. Find all references. Are you actually useful? Why are you a thing? Not really. Okay, so this is not needed because again we're not controlling that. That's done through fmod. Volume, find all references. Nope, not used again. Max pitch and min pitch, I'm assuming, are the same. Okay, again, we don't care because that's handled through fmod. So cool. Let's go ahead and come back here. And that means that all we should need now is event, or instance limit and looping. So let's go ahead and come back up here. Paste that in. Instance limit, and then loop. All right. So that should handle drawing everything, but we do need to handle getting our height properly. So we're going to go ahead and say float height is equal to that, and we're going to return height at the very end, and then we're going to say if property dot is expanded. And then we're going to do some other things. And we are going to say, let's see, we'll say height plus equals editor GUI utility dot, not that, single line height plus field padding times, let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 should be fine. 6G, not 6F, of course. Okay. So that should get things looking the way I would like it to. Let's go ahead and check. Oh, and before I forget, we need to make sure that our event path is using fmod unity, and this is going to be fmod. Nope. What is it? Hold on. Hold everything. Sound attribute drawer. We don't care about you. Custom editor utility. Sound function. Sound manager. Sound source. Here we are. Studio emitter. Peak. Event ref. That's what it's called. Okay. So now we can let that go. So we'll let that compile. In theory, I have everything set up properly, which probably means that I overlooked something very basic and stupid, but we'll see. I would like to be able to get it playing before I end the stream today. That's the goal. And right, you're going to throw all kinds of complaints because I forgot to comment you out. So for now, let's just go ahead and do this. Okay. I will say though, from my experience with fmod so far, it's actually a pretty cool tool. Um, I'm looking forward to messing around with it more, just because you can do all kinds of automation to make sounds just, well, sound better. Everything from automatic pitch adjustment to offsetting start times and looping between multiple clips, by which it'll like select a different clip to play each time it loops, which is actually nice. Anyway, let's go ahead and select this. How bad are you going to be? Not that bad. That's not great. Oh dear. Oh, that makes sense. That does make sense. That was me being stupid. Um, that is because I need to come back over to here to Sound Drawer. Hello, Manatee TV. Welcome to the Devstream. How are you doing today? All right. So when I do this whole event path stuff, I actually need to come up here. So this is going to be times 5, and then we're going to go ahead and say height plus equals editor GUI dot get property height, passing in property dot find property relative, and this is going to be our event name, and then we're going to say plus field padding. All right, and here is where things get a little more dicey, because we're going to say instead of single line height, we're going to have to say this. So we'll say editor GUI dot get property height, pass that in. All right, let's see what that does. That should format things a little bit nicer. I didn't account for the extra height that the event path would expect. So once that compiles, it should shove everything below it down. How long has it been, actually? Well, that's not good. Yeah, definitely want to have. Oh dear. Ah, it's because it's event path. That's my fault. Yes, my fault. My fault. A few months. Yeah. Well, time is a fickle mistress. Just keeps on slipping. All right. Let's see what this. Well, while it's compiling, I'm actually going to take a drink. Well, how have you been? Either way. All right. Clear that. And boom. Nice. So I can toggle that open. It's all working. It's all going according to plan. I don't know why this is indented, though. That's kind of weird to me. Huh. Weird. Don't know what to make of that. All right. So first things first, I am. Let's see here. I'm not exactly enjoying this. So I guess I could do this. So we're going to want to say rect bg position is equal to new rect position. We're going to do that. And we're actually going to do that after we move our position. And this is where things get super complicated. I'm going to want to say bg position dot height is equal to get property height based off of property, and then GUI content dot none, I guess, or I guess I could pass in the label there. It doesn't really matter. And then once we have that, I'm going to say minus editor GUI utility dot single line height plus field padding. Okay, let's go ahead and get that in there. And now I'm going to call custom editor utility dot draw rect, and we'll say bg position. That should give me a nice bounding box on all of my fields there. And in addition to that, I do have to do this to compensate for it. We're going to say position dot x plus equals 3f, and then position dot width minus equals 6f. All right. So that'll just make things look a little bit nicer over here. Been good. Have to wake up so early for school, so I haven't really been able to stay up. So I missed most of the streams. Yeah, I wish I could stream earlier in the day, but since I work during that time, I can't. But I really do wish that I could stream just a little bit earlier so people didn't have to stay up so late if they wanted to watch. But I'm not really sure what a good solution is there. What with the aforementioned work. I mean, that's why I typically stream at 3 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays, because that's 4 hours earlier than I do on the weekdays. But it's not perfect. Okay, so this is pretty good. It does have one small problem though. We are actually going to do this. And I don't think I'm going to actually do that. So we're going to say position dot y plus equals field padding. Okay, we're doing well. And I think you can actually. That's probably fine. All right, we'll let that compile. I got a little bit of a gap here, and I want that gap to be between, instead of between the header and then the box, I want it to be between the top of the box and the first field, just to give me a little bit more breathing room. It's almost 11 p.m. here, so yeah, that's about right. So that's about a 6-hour difference then. Well, no, not about it. It is a 6-hour difference. Any time is not going to work That's true. Um, I just always feel bad whenever people kind of get stuck. Okay, so I was right. So I don't want you, but I do want everything else. I feel like I probably should actually have that go one more thing, but it's fine for now. Anyway, so before I forget, I should probably go ahead and do this. Um, so sound colors are this, and I guess what I want to do here, please let that be. It's not. Isn't that nice? Um, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and say, where are we here? So I want to say serialized property um, type is equal to property dot get property. I'm sorry, it's find property relative. Find property relative. Da, da, da. It's going to be type. Okay, and one that lets me come back down here a little bit later and just say type instead of find property relative, and then I can say, let's see, up here, we're going to say switch type dot int value, and we're going to cast that to a sound type, which is of course not going to work yet because I need to say using system, not system, sleepyOwl, sleepyOwl.common. All right, so then we're going to say case sound type dot music. I'm going to break. Let's go back down here. We're going to say color header color is equal to color dot white. Then we're going to say header color is equal to colors, sound colors of, I believe music is cyan, so we're going to say 2. Let's go ahead and say case sound type dot effect break header color is equal to sound colors of, I think 1 is what I want. Yeah, I'm sorry, not 1, 0. And that's all I really care about. You can't really do anything besides that, so. But I guess I should, for consistency's sake, just have it in there. So we're going to say dot speech, and that's going to be sound colors of 1. All right, and then this is going to have a custom color of header color. Okay, that should get things to play a little bit more nicely. And all right, so let that compile. Once that's working, I don't know if we want to call it a little bit of a night. It's a little early, but I get the feeling that it's going to get a little. Well, yeah, let's see. So make that music. Cool. So that's at least affecting that a little bit, which is nice. So I can still get some color coding. If I give this a name, let's go ahead. Oh, I guess I don't really have much of a choice there. I really didn't want that to be the case. So for this one, hold on. On name, I'm going to go ahead and say editor styles. No, hold on. Editor styles dot. Do I have a delayed field? I don't. Can I make it a delayed field? Nope. Crap. So I need this to be a delayed string field, which is, of course, going to take a string. So we're going to say delayed text field. Can I give it a serialized property? Oh, good. I can, so I don't have to worry about it. Cool. So we'll let that go. And it's important that the name field be a delayed field, because if it's not, then as soon as I start typing into it, you saw that the name changed right away. And if I'm doing any sort of sorting, which happens every time that name changes, then it gets to be a bit much, just because it's trying to sort basically every time you type in a character, and it's just much better for you to type out what you want and then have it just automatically sort once it's done. Also, welcome back, Dusted. No worries. We have most of our scripts created. It's mostly into editor creation to make them look nice. So now if I did like a test name, you can see that it's not doing anything until I hit enter, at which point it's going to populate. We do not have a unique ID yet, and that's because we don't have a good generation process. But it does mean that we can now, instead of having this stuff all be manually drawn in Fmod Sound Collection Editor, we can simply come down to here and, oh, shoot. You know what doesn't work? I need a delete button here. Okay. So, about that. Ugh. That means that I need to change this. So it means that I can't have my sound draw with the header. Instead, the sound is going to have to draw with this content, and the header is incidental to that. The header has to come after the fact. So it's not the end of the world. It just kind of sucks. So let's go ahead and we're going to change this. I guess that does make things a little bit easier for us here. But yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of all the color stuff. I will need to go back here again. So we're going to change that to that. We're going to get rid of all of this. Get rid of you. Get rid of header color. We're not going to actually worry about that. No worries. I think we're getting ready to close up once I get this editor stuff functioning the way I'd like. We'll save getting the audio playing for a little bit later. So I will see you later. We're going to go ahead and copy this. We're just going to move this down to here. We're not going to worry about property.isExpanded or anything like that. We are going to just get rid of this. We don't need to worry about if it's expanded anymore. We can just say position.height is equal to that. And let's see, so we do want this to work. That's all correct, which is nice. Okay, I think we're doing well. All right, so for this, I think we want this to be 0 initially now. And we don't care about anything else, do we? Nope. So we're just going to actually come back down to here. We're going to move this, paste that in. We'll just say it's equal to that to start, and then we'll add that height, come back down. We don't need this get label. It's no longer useful, right? Cool. Although I will probably keep that for our sound collection editor. All right, so what we need to do here is we need to, we're not going to have this chunk of code anymore. We're not going to manually draw it. Instead, and we're not going to have to draw this. Oof, this is such a mess. Let's see here. Because we're changing everything over to use serialized properties, which is always a bit of a nightmare. Let me clean my glasses real quick. I hate doing ports like this, but that's what happens when I work in old code. So, first things first, on enable, we're going to come up all the way up to here, and we're just going to say private serialized property. This is going to be our M sounds. And then we're going to say up to here, M sounds is equal to serialized object.find property. Let me make sure that I am doing this as expected. I will eventually find this. Why can I not see you? Definition here. Yep, cool. It's just called sounds. That's what I wanted to know. So sounds. All right, and then down here for draw custom inspector, we're going to call. Let's see. Draw sound inspector, collection sounds of I. So instead of calling sound inspector like this, we are actually going to call mSounds dot get array element at index of I. This is going to take a serialized property that's going to be our sound, and we're just going to say, well, we have a couple of things. One, I need to come back down here. We're going to copy this. Come back to here. I'm just going to paste this right here for now. We're going to say sound dot is expanded is equal to editor GUI dot property field, or not property field, sorry. Wrong thing, I'm in the wrong mode. Custom editor utility dot draw header, and that's going to take a rect, which is just going to be our editor GUI utility dot get control rect. Hold on. Dot get control. Okay, so it's not utility, it's layout. Layout dot get control rect. That gets us our rect that we can draw properties in. And then I'm going to want to say get label based off of sound, followed by our color, which I will have to make a function for. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. And actually, can I not? What do I need after that? What? Why are you giving me that? Why aren't you giving me what you should be doing, which is position and label? Oh, the value, duh. I was like, why aren't you working? So I need sound is expanded. Okay, so that's that. And then we're just going to say if sound dot is expanded, then we're going to say editor GUI layout dot property field sound. Okay, I think that will do what I want. So first things first, let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to say private color, not private color get sound color, I guess. Serialized property. Okay. Let's see here. So for that, we're going to go ahead and we just want to say color is equal to color.white. We'll return color at the end. Then we're just going to say switch, and then sound type. We're going to cast that of property.find property relative type dot int value. Okay, and then we're going to see case sound type dot effect break color is equal to sound colors of 0. Case sound type dot speech color is equal to sound colors of 1. Break case sound type dot music color is equal to sound colors of 2 break. Okay. Then we can come back down to here and we can say get sound color sound. Oh, right. You don't go there. You go at the end. Ha! All right. Let that compile. So, in theory, this shouldn't look terrible. It should look pretty much the same. But I get the feeling that it's... Oh, wait. It's only going to show one of them. Oops. Yep, that's about right. Oh, interesting. Loop was cut off. So it is... Fortunately, it is going to be... Oh, right. Hold on. Let's go ahead and come back down here. Sound drawer. There we are. So we don't need that line anymore. So that's a simple fix, fortunately. So it didn't draw the size field because it can't, which makes sense. And I usually don't show that anyway in this inspector. You can see in the old ones, oh, clicked right as it was compiling. So give me a second. Any day now. Any day now. Come on. So you can see that we have kind of everything being drawn, but we don't actually show the count field because it's not really relevant. So what I do want to have here is I do need this delete button, and that's pretty much the only thing that I really care about. I don't need to be able to test. I would like to be able to test, but I don't have to. And as long as all of this is still working, of course, which is nice. I wish that you could click on that to expand it, but you can't. And then, of course, if I change this around, so music and then speech, cool. So that all seems to work. Test name is the thing that it does. Cool. So, that is, oh, and right, does that look nice? Probably could use a little bit more space, but it's okay. So now we kind of, I mean, we have things kind of being displayed properly, but I do need to add a way of, or I need to create a way to add more sounds, which will probably just involve, well, it's interesting because I'm going to want to basically have an event path that I have displayed, but I don't really care about all of these properties, but I guess I should have them. And after that, I'm going to want to have a type, and then I can have an add button. So we might save that just because it's a little bit after 5. And I do have some research to do on getting things like volume and all that, which I feel is going to be a much more complicated matter. But we do have our structure in place for using fmods with our sound managers. We just don't quite have it test ready. So that'll be something that I'm going to work on, and I will hopefully have that done for Tuesday's stream so that we can just kind of get in and get things rolling. Admittedly, we will see because, new Smash Bros. Game. We'll see how much that ends up pulling me to the TV this weekend. I get the feeling it will be quite a bit. But I think that we've made some pretty good progress, though. Just trying to get everything, set up. Just because it was a fair chunk of code to get everything working, and the fact that it's compiled still is that's enough of a victory for me, honestly. But I also like that we, got our fmod sound stuff ported over to using property drawers instead of manually drawing all those fields. That's always a good way to handle things. And yeah, I think that's pretty much a good place to stop for the day. So announcements. I think let me see real quick. I need to see a calendar. I have an event coming up this coming week on the 13th, I believe. So let's see, what is the 13th? That is Thursday, which means that this coming Thursday I will not be doing a dev stream. There's a local game dev meetup that I'm going to go to. We're going to be showing off some games. So I won't be doing a dev stream on Thursday, but I should be able to do one on Tuesday. That should be fine. And then Saturday should be fine as well. Just wanted people to be aware that I wasn't going to do Thursday stream. So I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. And as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.